Hi, everyone. Welcome to our free webinar with your best-selling book and the story cure. Our guest today is Jen Griswold. She is the CEO and founder of Modlink, formerly Boss Lady Bio, right? Boss Lady Bio, sorry, not Boss Baby. That just came out. And former military officer and has had a really storied career also as an entrepreneur. So I'm super excited to talk to you today about how to build a cheap and effective website for people who are just launching their personal brand. So, a lot of the people who come to us for book coaching at Your Best Selling Book are very incredibly high achievers and amazing human beings who have accomplished a great deal in their careers. A lot of them are top tier university professors, they're doctors at the absolute top hospitals in the country. They are coaches, consultants, founders of companies and nonprofits, but a lot of them don't have a brand identity separate from their work. And, so like maybe all they have is like a web page on their university website or their hospital website, or they may just love to write and they've been writing their whole lives, but they're like, oh my God, I don't do social media, right? Like this is a classic thing I've heard. So anyway, I have a lot of questions for you, but just to give you, I would love to have you start by just telling us some more about yourself, Jen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I already get so excited about this because I love entrepreneurship. But as you mentioned, my background, I'm from a very small town in Montana. My way out of that small town was to join the military. So I went to the Air Force Academy and became an aircraft maintenance officer, which means I was managing hundreds of mechanics that fix big cargo planes at the age of 22 in a male dominated field, which was really an adventure for another day. But I eventually met or married my husband, who is a C-17 pilot. And once we started having kids, one of us had to be home to raise children. So I took that role, not realizing that I actually would be battling myself as a stay-at-home mom. I went from full-time, hard-charging career in the military and managing lots of people to managing two toddlers that seemed to rock my world. And that's when I decided to shift back to some sort of part-time, which really wasn't easy in my career field. So that's how I ended up as an entrepreneur. And so I have run companies. I ran a skincare
But
business.
back it up. Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurship? Like, how did you decided to make that transition, which really resonates with me. Um, and now you've had a military background, you've been a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years, and you're like, I want to dive back in. How did you even take that step?
Well, it's funny because, and I know you're the storyteller. I like to tell the story that there was a day where, and this was a common day actually, where my husband was deployed for the millionth time, it felt like, and I was home with the two kids. And I just vividly remember this picture of me sitting on the floor. They were sick. I was sick. They were both in diapers. And I just kept thinking, what happened to me? I was this like vibrant leader and this amazing, like, woman in a male dominated field, really like leading the charge, literally and figuratively. And here I am, like miserable on the floor. Is this like all there is for me? And it was sort of this kind of literal low point where I just said, something's got to change. And it's not that I felt grateful that I could be a stay at home mom. I just was not my best self in that role. And so it was at that point that I said, okay, something's got to give. I can't really find a six-figure part-time job, which is what I wanted, which I giggle at now because that's kind of hard to do. But that's what pushed me into the uncomfortable place to say, what else is out there? And my parents were both entrepreneurs. In fact, my bedroom was right next to the bedroom they used it as an office. So I literally had a front row seat to watching them build their business when I was young. And I thought, okay, I'm a girl with skills. I can do something. And so that was really kind of what started my wheels spinning on what could I do? And my first business was a home staging business in, let's see, that would have been about 2007 when HGTV was just starting to show people what home staging was. And I was breastfeeding a baby and I was watching HGTV a lot. And I thought, you know what? I've moved a ton of times with the military. I'm really good at this actually. where I can move one house into the next on a dime. And so that was my first business. And actually, I would tote my 2 kids with me in the evenings to go stage homes. It was hard work, but it was really rewarding and really fun. So that's what kicked it off. And then each business has led into the next.
That is amazing. How cool. Okay. And then how did you begin your journey of helping entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs?
So, okay, so I had the staging business. I eventually sold that, realizing it didn't have a scalable model that would fit my life because we moved all the time. So that was sort of like data point number one. Then a friend of mine who was in finance, actually, she was a financial advisor. One of my best friends from high school said, you should check out the skincare company. And I had a very big distaste for direct selling, multi-level marketing, because I'd been in the military and I'd never once seen a woman do that and be successful to the point where she made real money. So I was a little jaded, to be honest. But she said, you know what, this is a new business. It's these doctors that are selling dermatological skincare. Like, you should just check it out. And I thought, okay, well, I will, but I'm going to give you referrals and then I'll be on my way. But as I looked at it, and especially given her financial background, assessing the company itself, I realized that like it was an actual good opportunity. And so I thought, if I'm going to give her all these referrals, I might as well just sort of stick my toe in the water and see what happens. And sure enough, it fit perfectly to help military women because it was something you could bring with you everywhere you went. And that was, 15 years ago, before mobile work was really, or work from home was really a thing. So we built up 9,000 women on my team all over the globe on military bases everywhere. And yeah, pretty remarkable results. So that is kind of how I got, really kind of got hooked on helping women. That's really my drug of choice, if you want to boil it down to, why I do business. And then from there, that flipped into when social media hit the scene, a lot of my reps were having trouble selling because they were just getting distracted on social media versus actually using it as an effective mechanism. And I think a lot of us get that way, where we just get overwhelmed and say, it's too much. I don't want to do it. I don't know how to do it. I'm sort of tapping out of this game. So that's when we thought, this is silly. This is such a great free marketing platform. We can help digest this for women so that they don't have to just avoid it or just not play along at all. We can kind of help them dilute it down into simple steps that we can help them with. So that's how Modlink was born.
This is such a remarkable story. So thank you for sharing, Jen, because I knew a little bit of pieces here and there, but it's really an engaging story. I think so many people can relate to all aspects of your journey from, escaping a small town into the military to being home, stay-at-home mom, which is a wonderful choice for some people and not for others of us, get really frustrated and like seeking other opportunities, but then also being on the move and needing to have a work that you could carry with you and finding your purpose and uplifting other women. It's really a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
And congratulations on all your success. That's really, I mean, obviously you have a lot of innate entrepreneurial talents to build up a 9,000 woman team. That's just
Yeah.
amazing. I would do a whole deep dive into that, but we'll save that for another time. So let's stay focused on what you're doing now and how your platform modeling can help aspiring authors and really anyone who's just starting to build their personal brand. So do you want to tell us a little bit about it? And feel free, if you want, you are welcome to, do a screen share if it helps you to share how things work. But why don't you start by telling us a little bit about what is modeling? How does it work? Why did you found it?
Yes. Okay. I am actually going to screen share because I think that might
Okay,
help a little bit. Let me pull up
great.
slides here. Okay. So see if I can do this. I'm the worst screen sharer ever, just to give you that
Yeah,
knowledge.
Candace is giving you a hands up. Thanks, Candace. Yeah, I did give you permission to screen share, so sometimes I don't do that, and people are like, "I can," but you're
No,
you're
I got
good.
it
You
here.
should be able to share.
I'm just telling you that I'm typically not really great at this. So let's see. Okay.
No, look at that.
We're just going to do it like this so that you can still see what I got going on here. Okay. So the bottom line, this screen is why we started Modlink. As I assessed what all these women on my team were doing, this is kind of where we landed. So they were stuck between all this time they were wasting on social media, which you get in there with good intentions, but then we just start scrolling and we become these animals that just can't stop, right? And we waste a lot of time and energy, and we sort of self-deprecate by doing that without realizing all the talents that are innately there. So that was problem number one. Problem number two was when somebody wanted to go build their personal brand, which I will touch on later because I think personal brands in this day and age are everything in 2025. What they went to was these very hard to edit websites, which could cost upwards of $10,000. I know I spent $10,000 on a website, but yet these websites were clunky. We didn't know the tech on the back end, so it was really hard to edit. They were very, hard coded to the point where you could not quickly change them. And in this day and age, again, everything's changing so rapidly, you need to be able to do that. And then the third problem was that we found that mostly the women in our world were just overwhelmed with technology. It just was eating them up to the point where they weren't even playing along anymore. So we saw these three problems and figured that here in the middle, we could become the solution to the problems by creating software. Now, I will tell you, software was not something I knew anything about. So this has been a journey for sure. We have an incredible team behind me that does it, but it is a challenge for sure to learn. But what I wanted to do out of it though was make sure that it was diluted down for the average person so that it's very easy to do. And as you and I may have talked about, like, I think we've done that where pretty much anybody of any age can learn how to edit our websites with ease from their cell phone, which is really cool. So we call it a virtual cover page, which is designed to be used as a website, a simple website or landing page. We also really encourage people to use it as the link in bio on their social media apps. So whether they use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, it can be used for all of those platforms because it is just a versatile landing page. So the way we do this is we start with what we call a brand blueprint. So most of our users are exposed to this. It's a free resource I'm going to give you at the end, but this is on our website and it really just kind of helps you get thoughtful about who am I in this world? I may be a doctor or an attorney or, whatever my profession is, but there's things that you want to share with the world beyond just your profession. So what are my core values? What fundamental belief statements do I have about this world? And in my case, I believe that when women make money, we do a lot of good things for our community. And so that's a fundamental belief that works for me, right? Who is your ideal client with the thing that you're trying to sell? So if that's your book, who's that target market? I actually have an author in my membership who has a children's book, and she likes to talk about the ages for which her children's book is written. But I said her ideal client is really teachers, moms, it's all the people that are going to be purchasing the book. It's not the kid themselves, right? It's the people with the money that are going to actually make that purchase. So we have to think deeply about where is that ideal client live? Where is she shop? What does she believe? Where does she hang out? Where are we going to find her online? Which platforms does she use on social media? All that goes into this brand blueprint. Then we talk about and we teach a way to make an intro statement that is very clear and very concise so that anytime somebody says, okay, tell me a little bit more, you've got your little one-liner, almost like an elevator pitch, but even shorter, that clearly states exactly what you're after. And then we help practice with answering the common questions like, what do you do? Why does your client need this? And how do you create a transformation through, in your case, this book? Then we encourage you to make a tagline so that you can use that on all your platforms everywhere. And it just makes our clients feel really comfortable about who they are in their personal brand. So once we get that done, we move on to building this actual link. So it'll show you what it looks like. And again, we call this a virtual cover page. Now, most of the clients that we work with are similar to you where they have a profession, or they may even have a profession in a business, or they may even have multiple businesses. So we're trying to put multiple things together into this one cohesive brand, which is pretty much everybody anymore. We all have more than one thing going on. So this is sort of the gist of what we have in a Modlink. So we have an intro, we have a section full of links, we have a carousel section, we have a testimonial section, and then we have a place where they can get your contact information. So that is literally it in a nutshell. It's a very simple landing page. Here's a little bit more about it, what it looks like. So on the intro section, we have your beautiful photo that you will probably need for your book anyways. You have a little intro clip that you can actually push play on so that you can introduce yourself. And for an author, I think that's really important because they're going to see your writing, but they also need to hear your voice. People love behind the scenes. So they can hear your voice, they can hear your energy about your book. They can kind of get a glimpse into who is this person that wrote the book, which I think is really key. And we typically encourage you to keep those very short. So again, that intro statement is where you're going to, slap them with exactly what this book or this, this brand is all about. And
And hang on. So just one question real quick, Jen, because I
yeah.
think this is extremely valuable to our authors, not only for the fact that people want to get to know the person behind the book. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Also, almost everyone is using their book to build their brand as a way to attract clients and speaking
Yes.
engagements. The
Yes.
book itself is not the book itself is another calling card, right? It's not
Yes.
the thing that you're selling. You're selling yourself. And so I think that's really valuable. And I'm hoping, I just wanted to say, will you be giving some examples of this later? Will you be showing us some examples?
I
Could
will
you?
show you my example. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I think
And
that would be super helpful to see how it all looks too when put
yeah.
together. Okay,
And
great.
I'll show you actually in real time. So, okay.
Okay.
So we're introducing ourselves. We've got our brand statement. Our hot button is sort of the quick catch. So anyone in the social media world these days has about a 3-second attention span. So they're going to come to this, they're going to click on the link in your bio and they're going to take one quick look. So this hot button is above the fold right here. You can see, and it's sort of the first thing that they see and we want to catch their attention. So this would be where if you have, a free chapter, if you have some sort of freebie, this is where you're going to put it because then they're going to immediately be satiated with something that they want and that'll connect them to you in some way so that you can keep that longer term relationship and nurture them into whatever it is that you're going to try and sell them eventually. Okay. Then in the second section, if they keep scrolling, we've got a whole bunch of links. So this could be things like your business, your likes, your interests, your hobbies, any sort of promos that you have going on any of your services. You have other things you can do here, a quiz, an article, any other websites you want to link to. There's a lot of options for what you can put here. I don't recommend that you overwhelm people. Just a few is enough, but you want to give them a taste of kind of who you are as the author behind this book or brand.
Can I ask a question about that too? So are you talking about like linking to your LinkedIn page, linking to your Instagram page, or what could
No,
you give us some example? Because
sure.
I see you here, you have like articles, quiz. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
a lot of this is, again, sort of feeding their curiosity about you. So you are the brand, you're the thing that they're after. So they want a little more about you. So have you done any podcasts that you would want to share? Do you have other content, like maybe your longer form YouTube content? Have you done a TED Talk? Those kind of things. Meaty content is what you want to put here. We have a separate section for your social media contact information. This is more if I have a LinkedIn article that's done really well, I want to link it here. Okay. All right. So then we move from there. Oh, the other thing I'll mention on these links though, is that you can link to another URL. So another website or another site of some sort. You can ask a question. So let's say I have a newsletter that I want to build. I can say, would you like to join my newsletter? And then it's going to capture their email and it'll build a list within the analytics section of our software. So lots of versatility in, what you can do. You can also link to a PDF. If you have a PDF, you can link it directly there. So again, if you have a freebie or something. Okay, then when we move on to the next section, it's a carousel. So this is very similar to a website where you have 3 different sections that have a photo, a title, a description, and then a button, and they can scroll through them. So there's 3 different carousels there. I always like to say the first carousel should be whatever it is that you're really selling. So if the book is your hook or your magnet to get somebody in, if your coaching is what you're selling, or if your medical services is what you're selling, this first carousel is where you want to put it because on your phone, it's the first picture that they see when they're scrolling, besides your photo. So this is where you really want to hit them with an amazing offer on whatever it is that you're really trying to sell here. Okay, so that can trade out too. I mean, depending on what services you have, you may trade that out monthly. We do that with our Modlink services, but it could also just stay static if that's what you do all the time. So lots of options there. Then, of course, third-party validation is everything. So you want to make sure you have good testimonials. I know the gal that I'm working with in our membership has some really strong testimonials. So we actually put her best testimonial here. And then we have another link up at the top in that link section. This one with the link section, we put a link to Canva with all the rest of her testimonials because she has some really good ones. So we tried to make sure that she got airtime for all of those testimonials. She's a Navy SEAL wife, and so she has some really high level public Navy SEALs, Jocko Willenick, that is, giving a testimonial for her book, which is cool. And then lastly, we have the connection piece. So this is your virtual business card. This is where they can get in touch with you in all the formats. We give you places to link all of your social media. And they even have a place, if you can see here, where they can actually click this little button and it says add to phone contacts. So you can add a little message that says, thank you for, learning about my book. I'd love to stay in touch. May Fox. There's a little section in there that you can actually keep a friendly message so they remember who you are. So that's the gist. It's very simple. I'll show you what it looks like in real time. Can you see this?
Yep. Okay. Looks great.
So this is my personal Modlink. And I am a huge believer that less is more. So even though you guys are wordsmiths and you're writers, the more you put, the more confused people are, or the more it takes them to read it. You want it to be short and impactful. So a couple sentences goes a long way. That's why we teach you kind of how to write that intro statement so that it's just one quick statement that they don't get lost in. So I'm obsessed with helping women start businesses, build strong brands, and find empowered communities. Now, I have multiple businesses. So this overarches both of my businesses. I don't just say Modlink in here. I'm sort of giving an overarching belief system I have for both of them. So that's how I do it. But then I can link to whatever's hot. I just shared this Amazon organizer the other day. So that's in my hot button. I have.
What is that? What is your Amazon sample organizer? Is that like a
packet organizer?
It's like literally a product.
Yeah, it was something
okay,
I was
cool.
talking about in my stories that people wanted. So I just put it in there. And it's so easy to do from my cell phone to edit this button. It's no big deal because I'm a super user. I can change it like daily and it's not a big deal. For those of you that don't have that capacity, you can also just leave this as my free guide or my free chapter to my book or whatever. I'm also collecting up, and I'm building a new list, a personal list. So I put a question here. Would you like to get my personal newsletter regularly? And they have options, and then they would add their email address and submit it. That then collects emails on the back end. So I can create a list that then I can market to, with whatever I want to tell my personal list. So you can do that on any of these buttons. I put a discount code to my favorite Aura ring. I mean, there's lots of things you can do here. But then this is the carousel section with buttons. Same thing. These can be questions if you like them to be. This is, something that we're selling that, of course, would be the first thing I saw on my phone when I scroll this, because when you put this in mobile, it compresses. So this first picture is what you see on your mobile. So this is where you'd want to put your consulting services, your medical services, whatever your law services there. Then you've got reviews or quotes. Sometimes I just like to quote my, whatever, something snarky if I want to, and then my contact information. So super simple. And then of course, people can also start a Modlink themselves if you want to share it with somebody. We have an affiliate program. So if anybody were interested in that, it's very easy to set up, but this is just a really easy virtual landing page. So not hard at all. Let's see, what else do I have on here?
This is so fantastic, by the way. Thank you. I just
Sure.
want to say it's amazing. Okay.
So I wanted to make sure that everybody has access to this brand blueprint because I feel like it's just a very useful tool. So if you go to mymodlink.com, this is a freebie on our website that you can just go grab. I think I may also have put in, this is a link to our our membership. So we also help people do this on the weekly. I know some of you may go to the length of hiring somebody to help design your personal brand for you. We are really designed for, this membership is designed for people who want to do it themselves. So who really want to craft their personal brand for themselves. So we have weekly sessions where you can do that. You can scan here to learn a little bit more about it. I love helping, especially women. We do, we are available for everybody, but it seems like we attract more women. I love helping them pull their personal brand together in this group. So we have all sorts of people in there. It's a mishmash of everybody, but every Tuesday at noon. In fact, May is going to be a speaker in our membership I think next month. So we have speakers every second Tuesday, but otherwise we help you with your personal brand on the weekly. And then I wanted to make, I know a lot of times people have questions. So if you wanted to, talk about your own personal brand or what your own personal needs are, because everybody's different, this is my schedule. So you're welcome to schedule a call with me if you had individual needs. I've worked with several people like May who have authors regularly. So I do understand kind of what you're after. So it's fun to help you. So I think that's all I had there, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
That was amazing, Jen. I mean, I don't know. I'm so excited to share this with my community. I appreciate you, Amy and Candace, being here live. But I know there are other people who are really going to benefit from this. And I know we had started the story cure on it, but we decided we could build the full website on our existing website. But I am so motivated by this talk. I'm going to go sign up, you guys, for myself, for my personal website, because I already have an existing one, but it's everything that you talked about. Like, you are truly speaking my language, Jen, because it was beautifully designed by a professional designer. It looks gorgeous, but it's hard to go in and edit. Like, when I initially built it, what is it? 3 years ago now, I was still promoting myself as a life coach, but now I want to like kind of let that die. And I really want to just lean into the Your Best-Selling Book and the book coaching and the Story Cure online community. So then I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I go back to her? And then I talked to you and I was like, wait, this is exactly what I need. And the idea of having all the links and being able to update it. So I just want to give you my enthusiastic vote of support. And I'm going to be getting on for myself. I'm
Yay.
going to create
Well,
my own personal one.
when you
Yeah.
do, and if any of you also want to give this a try, tag us in our social media because we share every time. So if you're promoting your book, but you are also using your Modlink on the regular, tag us every time you post on your stories because we will reshare because we want to get you a bigger community as well. And so if they can see your book and sign up for your lists, we would love to help with that.
Thank you. And really appreciate all of your wisdom and knowledge and expertise in this. I want to open it up for Candace or Amy. Do either of you have questions for Jen?
I don't have a question, but I love like everything that you've done. I'm a military spouse, so I was like, oh, I get it. I know
I
the
could actually tell by the way you were nodding your head. Isn't that funny how
oh,
you can read
yeah.
somebody?
I was like, oh yeah. Yep, I
Yes,
get
you understand the woman on the floor with the two
it.
babies probably then.
Yeah, yep. So
Awesome. Well, good for you for doing book things. That's exciting.
Like you said, Jen, like Candace has multiple things going on at once, right? So part of it is book, part of it is, I mean, I can let you tell Jen a little bit about yourself, Candace,
oh yeah,
but
doing all the things. It's like, what am I not doing right now? But I love it. And I like being able to see it. Because I have a practitioner site on heal.me. And so it does like a lot of things like that, but it would be great. And I've been looking into like building a website and because I'm going to start hosting retreats once we get to North Carolina. We're like in the middle of before we PCS again. So it's like waiting for that moment, but it's like I want a place that I can advertise that and be able to share that with people. So I'm really excited to take a look. And I have a friend of mine who was also looking for a website and I was like, yeah, because I've built like 3 different websites for myself and it's always such a process, like being able to it's like you can figure out the systems and they're there, but anything that's so much simpler and easy, especially with how much people pay attention to them anyway, like why spend all that extra time and energy and effort when people aren't going to look at it for more than like 3 seconds? Like,
Yes. And you know, the other thing that I will add, which I always forget to mention, but is really important, we do all of the debugging, all of the work, because you know, if you have a website, things can happen. You can get shut down for different reasons. You can get bugs for different reasons. It's very risky, to be honest, in this day and age if you're trying to do it yourself. We do all of that on a corporate level for Modlink itself. In addition, we also help you with mad SEO, because SEO is really hard to get. When you're out there, it takes years and a lot of backlinking to get real SEO, to get to the top of some of the Google pages. But because we conglomerate all of these links together, you're sort of benefiting from the collective link backlinks. So a lot of times we hear from our users that when they Google themselves, their Modlink comes up first because they're getting all that sort of collective SEO. So it really does have a lot of utility that saves you time, energy, and benefits you just by using our platform.
That is a huge benefit,
Mm-hmm.
Jen, actually, because I have that with my own website, like it's been up there for years and I just redid it. And then I just feel like it doesn't even, there's all this other stuff that comes up first, so that's really nice because it gives you an element of control over what people see at the
Yeah.
top of the search.
And
And then I love,
even if you have a maymayfox.com or, a personal website, you can point your servers, and we tried this with Maymay and then we kind of ran into some blocks, but you can point your servers over to us and your users will not know the difference. When they click on maymayfox.com, we can point them to your Modlink, which would just be mymodlink.com backslash maymayfox, but they will never know the difference. It's just an auto forward, to the point where then you're still getting the SEO, you're still kind of using your own brand name. We have a service where we can do that for under $100 that we can point your servers over. So it makes sense to do that versus trying to keep up with your own website all on your own.
oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the cost of this because part of my promotion for it is it's really affordable. So can you tell us how much it costs?
Yeah, so this is a month-to-month service. It's you build it yourself. We do have people that if you didn't have the time, I know sometimes with busy, professions, you just don't have the time to sit and wordsmith all of it. So we do have bio builders, but if you're going to do it yourself, it's just $11.99 per month to build a Modlink for all the pro features, everything we have, plus the analytics on the back end. And then if you want to jump into our membership and get all the help with it, it is $4.99 for the year. That's going up in 2 weeks to $5.99. So jump in on that. And then for military, we have 20% discount as well. So yeah, much better than website stuff.
Really affordable. Even
Yeah.
my last website was not hugely expensive and it was like $2,000. So yeah, this is a radical difference.
Yes.
Amy, I wanted to make sure you had a chance to ask any questions if you have any.
Oh, thanks, Maymay. And I'm so glad this is a military family. My dad was career Army, so kudos to my mom who did that for 26 years. And my own husband, not military, but worked for a global company and was gone up to 3 weeks a year when I had littles. And it's hard. So remember pulling up and moving to Singapore. How long did we live in Singapore? 3 months, 4 months? Like, one of those quick, I still call them deployments, but kudos to you. My question, you kind of mentioned that the backslash Maymay Fox. I have a really long, hard to spell last name. What advice do you have, if any, around what to call it, if not my name?
So tell me more about what you're selling or what your book is leading to.
Yeah, so far, really nothing. I mean, I do consulting, and right now my book is more around social connection and longevity, which is what my career has been all along. But I don't necessarily want it to be like the title of my book, and I could do my last name. I'm not sure if people have to spell it, they're going to end up where they need to be.
So you could do something, we've seen people do like a Gen G or, some shorter version of your name that they can remember. Is it really difficult or?
It's difficult. I'll put it in the
It's
chat.
Yotopoulos. Yeah, Yotopoulos, and it doesn't help that my last Amy ends with Y, and then there's another Y. So I think sometimes when I've looked at creating my own website, I've even thought, oh, as much as I love my name, don't get me wrong, I think it's hard for a public facing, yo, Amy, there we go, that's it.
go. That's actually really
I was
cool.
like, that would
That
be
would
Okay,
be
super
done.
memorable.
memorable. It'd be super duper memorable. Yo,
Yeah,
Amy.
We're
that's
done.
actually
Thank you.
really cute. I think the
Perfect.
I
shorter
mean,
version though, because people do
yeah.
tend to forget if it's too long and hard to
Yeah,
understand. So I think any sort of shorter version would work.
perfect. Thank you.
That's very memorable. I would definitely go with that.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Great question, Amy. Thank you for that. I'm sure that's something that Candace might be thinking about as well. Candace.
Yeah, I usually shorten it to Van because it's so much easier. But yeah, so that's funny. Do you normally recommend that people use their first and last name? Because like my business is called The Warrior Within Healing. So would I want to use my name or the business itself? You want to use your name?
Want to use your name because your personal brand spans all the things you do. It sounds like you do more than one.
Yes.
Whereas you can have a Modlink for both. You could have one for your business as well.
Mhm.
But I tend to believe, and even still, I market a lot of the things that we market over on Modlink Social. I also market on my personal, and I get a lot of registrations for webinars. I mean, I did one earlier today, and a lot of people signed up from my personal promotion. So I
Okay.
think that that is the stronger way to go. People are always constantly looking, and you never know which ones of them are going to become customers in your personal space and move
Right.
over to your business space. So it's a much bigger opportunity. Plus, it lets people fall in love with the quirks, because in your professional space, you only show the professional side of you, where in this day and age, people really want more than that. That's why we live in this kind of entertainment world. So in this presentation I was telling earlier today, I'm like, the more of the things that you think are kind of weird about you that you can share on your personal stories and in some of your content, the better, because that's what's going to draw people in. My son is a track athlete, and in the world of NILs in college, you know, you have to be different. And he flies airplanes, and he knows how to, you know, to do all these crazy simulators. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, go to the airline people or to the simulator people and ask for NIL deals, because nobody else is asking over there, right? But they still want people who can promote, and to have a track athlete promoting your flying simulator is pretty cool. So
Yeah.
to kind of think of the fringe of why my differences make me better,
Mm-hmm.
more distinguishable than the next, you know, nonprofit or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's interesting because like that's the one thing I wish LinkedIn, even though I really love the professionalism on LinkedIn, it's like people get to know me through Instagram because I'm always in my stories. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
wish I had
Well,
that.
and you can use your Modlink on your Instagram. I highly recommend you do, because Instagram is a very buttoned up platform, and
Yeah.
it's going to start to shift. I can already tell you it's happening.
I
So the
already,
more personal you can lay in there, even though you may not put photos of your family in there, if they can dig further and sort of self-investigate and find you in your Modlink, they'll love it.
yeah. And so the Modlink, you said it serves as a landing page, and you said that it has like the intro to you.
Mhm.
How do you see people like essentially best utilize it? Is it kind of like, I know Linktree is very different. I'm not comparing, please do
No,
not.
they're very similar, actually.
But
We like to say that we're like a better version or a more aesthetic version of Linktree.
okay,
But
perfect.
I'm so glad you brought that up, actually, Candace, because I was thinking that too when I first
Yeah.
checked out Modlink. I was like, oh, it's kind of like a link tree. Oh,
Mm.
except you can have like a 10-second video and a little bit about your one-liner about who you are, and oh, you can have special offers and sweat them out. Yeah, it is.
And really, Linktree does a lot of those things. Why we're different is that we care about you, and we actually meet with you if you want to weekly to help you craft it. Whereas Linktree is just a big software that nobody's going to reach out and help you. So that's my passion, is making sure that women actually do this, because we feel so overwhelmed. We want you to succeed.
Yeah. And so that's a community that you guys have that everybody can come together once a week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And I'll put this back up for you, because I think this is the one that if you want to take a picture of this, or scan it. This is the personal brand accelerator that meets on Tuesdays. And we have business owners of all different kinds. We have coaches, photographers, our author that we have in there, lots of people that sell different things, different products of different types. So it's a mishmash of cool people.
Oh, I love the page. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys did a good job. Okay, there we go. Bye.
Okay. Well, I appreciate this opportunity. It was really fun to meet you all.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for taking our questions. Really appreciate your time, and look forward to sharing this with everyone in our community and hooking them up with you and myself, getting my own modeling set up. So
Yeah.
thank you, Jen.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.